Good evening, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me again for some virtual yoga. If you've been practicing with me over the last few days, you may notice that again my venue has changed. I'm back home reunited with the ducks and the cats, and they are all very happy to see us. At least in my mind, they're happy to see me. I'm happy to see them. But as usual, traveling leaves you feeling just a little stiff and maybe a little tired. So this class is kind of just what might feel really good after a long flight, a long day of driving, or sometimes just a long day of sitting, working from home or in your office, or standing for long periods of time inactively. Being a checker person often leads to this kind of tension in the body as well. Having to be in a rigid position for a longer period of time. A teacher might also experience this kind of tension from standing. And we're just going to kind of open up the body so that if you have been stuck doing one thing with your body, you can expand that range of motion and do some different things so that when we are finished today, your body will feel really much better than when we started, is my hope. We're going to start off lying on our backs. So when you're ready, go ahead and come to the floor. There are no props required tonight. You don't need anything special, but if you like to use a blanket for your knees, blocks for your hands, go ahead and bring any of those into play. When you come down to lie on your back, the first thing you want to do is nothing. Just flop onto the floor and get comfy. I have my knees in because that feels nice to my lower back. You may also notice that my knees are a little bit knocked in towards one another. I have my feet wider than my hips and my knees in towards one another like a little teepee. And that just helps to open up some space in the lower back. So if you feel tight there, that might feel really nice. If you have tightness in your hips and your belly, you might decide to go the opposite direction, soles of the feet together. Might feel perfectly lovely for you to extend your legs really long. See what feels good for your back as you lie on the floor. You could even do a little knee hug if you want to. Take that next couple of breaths just to get comfy. Close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And just become aware of what is going on with your body today. Is there anywhere that feels tight or tired or achy? Or is there anywhere that feels a little fizzy, a little energetic, ready to work? Anywhere that you notice yourself clenching or holding where you don't need to be. Common places to do that are often in the jaw, squinching around the eyes. A lot of us hold totally unconscious tension by squeezing our belly together, squeezing our belly muscles together. Are there any of those places in your body today? And if you notice any of them, if you notice yourself kind of just holding on to tension, basically for the sake of holding on to tension, see if you can let it go. How are your toes doing? We need a little wiggle. Just acknowledging the state that you are currently in. engaging with our bodies, acknowledging the needs and the strengths, of our bodies, the more balanced our practice can become. We can let our exercise, our yoga, if that is your exercise, be what we need it to be when we know what we need. When you're ready, blink your eyes open. Gather, if you have not already done so, your knees in towards your chest. You can hold your shins, you could hold your thighs. If that feels far away, feel free to have your feet up. You can always take a strap or a tie or a belt over your feet so that you can move a little bit here side to side if holding the thighs or the shins doesn't feel quite right. And just rock a little bit from right to left, perhaps. Wiggle your toes or roll out your ankles. And then you're going to come back to lying just kind of flat on your back. Catch behind your thighs or loop your strap behind your thighs. Kick your feet away from you. See if you can peel the back of your head off of the mat. See if you can rock yourself to seated. If you need to, use a little momentum or roll to the side. Cross your left foot in front of your right foot. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. You can always be adding a block or a prop to sit on here if you need to. And as you exhale, you're going to lean over to your left, bring your left hand to the floor or prop, bring your right arm over your head, stretch the right side of your torso. You can take your right arm a little back or look up to deepen the sensation if you want. As you inhale, you come back to the center line. As you exhale, you're going to twist over to your right. Left hand can come onto your thigh, right hand could come a little behind you. Relax your shoulders, especially if you have been rigid all day standing or sitting. Twisting the spine is so nice. It's not necessarily in our day-to-day range of motion, so it can feel just really sweet at the end of the day. You're going to leave your left hand where it is. As you inhale, come back to the center line, cross your right arm on top of your left, and just come into a little bit of a forward fold, tucking your belly back, rounding your spine forward. As you inhale, you're going to bring your chest forward, you're going to uncross your arms, open your elbows, come into this little bit of a cow spine, and then as you exhale, draw your arms together, palms, forearms, elbows, as much as wants to go as you draw your belly button back, cat spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And again, just become aware of what's happening in your body. Any noises that might be propping up in your joints, your creaky bits. Where this feels pleasant, where it feels tense. This is your last cow spine and your last cat spine. And then as you inhale, you're going to reach your arms up over your head. As you exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. Step your feet a little bit in front of you, soles of the feet to the floor. Lift your chest again. You can catch behind your thighs if you want. And see if you can roll all the way back to the floor. Maybe you can bring your knees with you, hugging them back in towards your chest. Maybe this time you turn the soles of your feet up to the sky. You can hold on to the feet, the calves, the ankles, wherever feels good. Take your knees down towards your armpit so you feel something happening in the inside of your hip socket if you choose this happy baby option. When you're ready, you gather your knees back in. You're going to rock yourself back up to seated so you can gather behind your thighs or your strap back there. You can kick forward for a little bit of momentum and come up to seated. Cross the right foot in front of the left foot. If you need to add a prop to sit on, go ahead. Lift your arms up as you inhale. As you exhale, right hand down, left arm over your head. Shoulders maybe a little back. Feel the left side of your torso, your rib cage opening up. way back to the center line, both arms up. As you exhale, you find your twist over to the left. Dropping the hands down, floor, leg, wherever you feel supported here. And it's not about how far you can twist. It's not about if you can like look behind you. It's just about, oh, does it feel nice? Does it feel like a release for your spine? It's like all the stuff that builds up during the day. We're just letting that all out. Leaving your right hand where it is, come back to the center line, cross your left arm in front. So you're just placing your hands somewhere on your legs and then round a little bit forward. Bring your chin towards your chest. Feel the space developing at the back of your vertebrae as you lean forwards. When you're ready, inhale and you open everything up. Bring your chest forward, squeeze your shoulder blades together, cow. And then as you exhale, round, pull the belly back. Cat. A few more like that. Last set. And again, you're going to reach your arms straight up over your head. As you exhale, bring your hands down by your sides. You're going to gather your knees in one more time. Place the soles of your feet on the floor. Lift the center of your chest. Inhale. As you exhale, you rock yourself back to the floor, bringing your knees in. This time we'll add a little twist, so take your knees over to the right side. And as usual, you could do any variation of a twisted pose that feels good. You're welcome to use a prop between or underneath your knees. And again, this should just feel really nice. Usually after being stuck in a position for a long period of time, flying, typing, standing, the first thing your body wants to do is just kind of remain rigid, but in maybe a different relationship to gravity. If you've been sitting, you want to lie down. If you've been standing, you want to sit. And you just want to kind of change position, but the energy often, bring your knees back to the center as you inhale. And then exhale them over to the left. The energy to do a lot of movement is often not there when you've been holding the body rigid for long periods of time. So I think it's nice to really gently move your body. Give it some nice kind stretches first here. And then we'll get into a little more vigorous movement of the body. Easing it in, warming it up slowly. When you're ready, come back to the center line. Gather your knees to your chest, catch behind your legs, and rock yourself all the way up. If you feel quite frisky, you can place your feet on the floor. I like to keep my ankles crossed, and maybe you can roll all the way forward. And you're going to come to your forward fold here eventually. So feet a comfortable distance apart. Keep your knees nice and soft as you come to dangle towards the front of the mat. You could be resting your arms on your thighs if that just feels like a little too much for your back at this point. Or your hands on props. If you like to go further, you could take your hands into the opposite elbow crease. And again, just feel some space developing between your vertebrae. You're welcome to move. Another deep breath. You lace those arms up, go ahead and release them. And on your next inhale, you can start to ragdoll towards the sky, maybe even walking your hands on your thighs for a super kind of lazy way to the ceiling. When you reach standing, roll your shoulders back. And then on an inhale, reach your arms overhead. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms to face the ceiling. Step your right foot behind your left foot if you can. Maybe crossing over, maybe it's just the right foot behind the left foot. You can always come back to feet next to each other if this feels a little unbalanced. Squeeze your inner thighs together, lift up as you inhale. As you exhale, lean over towards your left. Stretch again the right side of your torso. Keep reaching the palms of your hands up towards the ceiling. press into the big toe mounds of your feet. So you're pressing into the inside edges of your feet. And then inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, you're going to step your feet next to one another and bring your hands down by your sides. Inhale, bring your arms overhead, interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, step the left foot behind the right foot. Squeeze the inner thighs together, lean to your right, stretch the left side. Relax your shoulders a little bit. And again, press into the big toe mounds, the balls of your big toes, to get a little bit of kind of stability here. Wake up your inner thigh muscles. Inhale, you come back to the center line, step your feet together. As you exhale, this time separate your hands and fold all the way back forward. Inhale, pick up your halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your fingertips down. You can have your hands on blocks here. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. Bring your left knee to the floor. Walk your hands to frame your right foot. You can untuck your back toe or cushion your back knee as needed. As you inhale, find a little bit of a cow shape in your spine. Lift the center of your chest. Look forward. You can drop your hips forward if you want. As you exhale, pull your hips a little back. Fold a little forward. You don't have to go very far. It might just be a few inches. If it feels good, you can go as far back as bringing the left hip back towards the left knee, flipping the right toes up. Inhale, come forward, lift your chest. Blocks are really nice here because you might get a little more lift if you want it. And then exhale, stretch a little bit. We're going to do that one more time. When you inhale, you come forward. You can leave your fingertips tented or your hands on blocks to give you more space to step your right knee back next to your left knee. From there, plant your hands down underneath your shoulders. Inhale, find your cow pose. Exhale, find your cat pose. Inhale, dip the belly, shoulders back. Exhale, lift the belly, tuck the tailbone. One more set of cow and cat. And then coming back to your neutral spine, reach the crown of your head forward. Now reach your right toes out behind you as you inhale. As you exhale, you're going to take your right knee in towards your chest, seeing how close you can bring your knee to your nose. Lift everything up. You can lift up onto your fingertips or onto your props and see if you can step that right foot back between your hands. Inhale, shrug your shoulders back. You could stay here or you could come up higher, hands to thigh or hands to hips, or even arms up into the sky. Even as you reach your fingertips up, you relax your shoulder blades. Again, a little squeeze together of your inner thighs can be really beneficial to stabilize you here. Inhale. As you exhale, come forward, plant your fingertips down. You're going to tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee, and step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the legs somewhere perhaps. Exhale to soften. Soft knees, inhale, roll yourself one smooth breath to the sky. Exhale, let your hands come down in front of your heart. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, find that halfway lift. As you exhale, you keep your fingertips tented, step your right knee back, bring your right knee to the floor. Walk your fingertips back to frame your left foot. Feel free to use props. Inhale, lift the center of your chest. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, begin to straighten your left leg. Lean a little forward. Inhale, forward. There's a little bit of a cow shape in your spine. The belly can kind of drop a little forward. Exhale, lift back from the pit of your belly as you come into just a tiny bit of a cat spine. Let me do one more of those forward. Backward. And when you come forward, feel free to use height with your hands so that it's easier to step the left knee back next to the right knee. Plant the hands down. Inhale, find cow. Exhale, find cat. Stay up here in your cat as you inhale. And then as you exhale, start to roll your torso over to the right and down towards the floor through cow. As you exhale, come up the left side and back into cat. So you're rolling inside of a barrel, inhaling over to the right, and exhaling back up and over to the left. A couple more like that. And we'll switch directions as you come up from the left into that cat shape. You're going to roll back over to the left, down and over and up to the right. Imagine that again, your torso is inside a barrel and you want to be able to touch every side of the barrel. So you're really finding the fullest range of motion that you can here in this movement. And the last one. You're going to lift up through your cat pose as you inhale. And then as you exhale, you come back to neutral. Reach your left foot behind you. Maybe you need to lift up and find a little height. Step your left foot between your hands. You can stay right here if you like, or you can lift up in your inhale a little higher. Hands to thigh, hands to hips, or arms all the way up to the ceiling. Soften your shoulders. Feel free to take cactus arms or similar here. Take a deep breath. Draw your left hip a little bit backward. Inhale. As you exhale, fold forward. Tuck your back set of toes under, lift your back knee, and step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe your fingertips are ready to be on the floor. Maybe they like to come back to the legs. Exhale, release to the mat. Inhale, roll yourself all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. As you exhale, you're going to bring your right foot again behind your left foot to the extent that feels comfortable for you. Remember, you can always just have the right foot slightly behind the left foot, or even have your feet standing parallel to one another. So do what feels right for your hips. Maybe you have a little cross, you squeeze your inner thighs together, you lift up as you inhale, and as you exhale, you fold forward with these crossed legs. You might have to deeply bend both knees. If it's hard to come down with the feet crossed, you can always cross the feet once you get into your forward fold. As you inhale, lift up a little bit. As you exhale, fold forward. That might feel like plenty, or you might think, I need more. Maybe I need to walk my fingertips over to the left side to really stretch the outer edges of the hips. Walk your fingertips back to the center line. Lift up a little bit. Uncross your feet. Exhale to soften. And then as you inhale, now roll all the way out to the sky. Exhale, hands come into the heart as you bring the left foot behind the right foot. Squeeze the thighs together. Lift the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Again, if you need to step the feet across, once you get forward, that's fine. And you might notice that both your knees are quite deeply bent, or that one or both of your legs becomes a little straighter as you perhaps have more flexibility in this pose. Maybe that feels like a plenty. Maybe you need more and you walk a little bit over towards the right. And you might notice, I'm definitely noticing that this side is a lot tighter than the other side. A lot more tension in this hip. When you're ready, walk your fingertips back to the center line. Go ahead and uncross your feet. Press your heels down. Halfway lift as you breathe in. As you breathe out, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, you put your fingertips down again. You're going to step your left foot back. Walk your fingertips to frame your right foot. This time, keep your back knee lifted. This is where blocks might come in really handy. You can always place them underneath your hands here, or water bottles, or stacks of books, just to give you a little bit more space, because we'll do the same movement in the spine. Inhale, kind of lift your chest. You can dip your hips down a little bit as you find the lunge. And then as you exhale, begin to straighten your right leg. Come a little back. Find your modified pyramid. Inhale to come forward. And exhale to move backward. Feel free to flip your toes up if you like. This is your last set here. Come back to where we started, back to this crescent lunge position. Plant your left hand down to a proper to the floor and twist your right hand to thigh or hip or all the way up to the ceiling. Shrug your shoulders back if you need to. You can always drop your back knee down, but by this point you might be feeling confident enough to press into your left toes and lift your left hip a little bit. Adding just a little more work. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, fold towards the floor. Plant your hands down. You're going to step back, downward facing dog, or knees to the floor, table. Take a few breaths in your table or your downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal the feet. Draw circles with the hips. Inhale here. As you exhale, bring your knees to the floor if you have not already done so. As you inhale, walk your hands out in front of your shoulders. Slide your shoulders over your wrists. As you exhale, we're going to do 3 little tiny push-ups. Feel free to lift and cross your feet if that feels more comfortable to you. As you exhale, lower just as far down as you know you can come back up from. So if you can go all the way to the floor, great. If not, you go just a few inches, and then inhale to lift. And you just have 2 more. Maybe they're little baby ones. And you lift. Depends what you do with your shoulders today. Maybe they're big push-ups. And you lift. And then this time you just lower all the way to the floor. Uncross your feet, bring the tops of them to the mat, shrug your shoulders back, lift, cobra pose, your height, see what feels good. And then as you exhale, lower all the way down, tuck your toes under, come on back. You could come to table or downward dog, or you could take a little rest on your belly or in child's pose if you like. About 3 or 4 breaths here to just, again, touch base with your body. Do you need to be a little more active at this point? Holding your dog or your table, moving there. There's the fatigue of the day, just like that. Child's pose is perfect. Feels lovely. When you're ready, come to table or dog. And you'll float your right foot to the sky. Step your right foot forward. Look forward, inhale again, find that little bit of your kind of cow-shaped spine as you shrug your shoulders back. And then as you exhale, you take your hips just slightly back so you can bend your back knee and step up. Halfway lift. Exhale to side. As you inhale, weight to the heels, roll all the way up. Exhale, hands come in front of your heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down, step your right foot back, walk your fingertips back to frame that left foot. Inhale, you find that kind of cow-shaped shoulders back, a little bit of softness in your right hip, lift your chest. Exhale, pull back, pull your belly button towards your spine as you come forwards. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, a little bit of a pyramid. One more like that. Maybe you also are getting some nice crackling noises in your body. And come back to your lunge. Right hand stays on the floor or on a prop. Twist over to your left. Left hand to the hip or the thigh or all the way up, reaching towards the ceiling. If you feel strong, you can lift that right hip a little more. Inhale here. And then exhale, forward, plant your hands. You're going to step back. You could come to downward dog or to table pose, your choice. This time we're going to flow straight through our vinyasa. So as you inhale, come forward to plank. You can come the same way we did the first time, knees on the floor, or you can slide the shoulders off of the wrists. Knees up or down. You're going to take 3 push-ups. And you can do the high push-ups, or you can drop the knees and do the low push-ups. See what works for you, and either way, the push-ups can be any size. You exhale and you lower down maybe a few inches. Inhale, lift. If you feel strong, you go all the way to the floor and you lift. Last one. And then you lower yourself all the way down, untuck your toes, press your feet down. Inhale, cobra pose. And then exhale your choice. You could go to child's pose and rest. You could go to dog or table. If you feel really quite frisky, you can always repeat that half vinyasa cycle. Plank, push up, maybe add an extra push up if you feel really quite fiery today. And then lower to the floor. Back bend of choice. And then we'll all meet in the next couple of breaths in table or downward facing dog. From there, float your left foot to the sky. And then step your left foot to the front of the mat. Lift the center of your chest, soften your back knee ever so slightly. And then step up, draw your belly button back, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to release. As you inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, hands to the heart. Soften your gaze, or even close your eyes here for a few breaths. And again, just check in with your body. Do things feel different or the same? Or the areas that you notice first, different areas, new areas? And this is just information. If you still have tension in the same area, maybe that's something you want to focus on for the rest of class. You want to remind yourself to relax your shoulders. If you have a lot of fatigue, maybe you take the more gentle option, or you take the rest options when they come up. What you notice is that you kind of are tapping your fingers and you think, when are we going to move on? Maybe you add those extra half vinyasas. It's just an opportunity to check in and then make the rest of the practice the best that it can be for you today. You're ready. Keep your eyes open, reach your arms overhead. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, your fingertips stay down, step your left foot back. We're going to go back to those lunges and pyramids. So frame your front foot. You can do them with the back knee up or the back knee down. What feels better to you today? Inhale, lift the center of your chest. Exhale, straighten your right leg a little bit. Fold forward. 2 more. And then you're going to come back, front knee over, front ankle. If you dropped your back knee to the floor, tuck your back toes and lift your back knee up. We're going to add on a little bit here. The right hand will stay on the floor or a prop. The left hand comes to the hip. Look to the left side. Rotate your left heel to the floor. Long edge of left foot lines up with the short edge of the mat. Windmill your left arm into the sky and see if you can lift yourself all the way up to warrior 2. Straighten your front leg. Bump your hips back and fold forward. Right hand to thigh. Go to calf, you can go to the ankle or to a prop. Reach your left arm up, and instead of focusing on how far down the leg your hand gets, focus on opening your chest and stacking your left shoulder on top of your right shoulder. So maybe you need to come up a little higher so you feel that nice openness at the front of your body. Inhale, press into both of your heels. See if you can lift all the way back up. As you exhale, you bend your right knee. Flip your right palm up and fold to the back of the room, reversing your warrior. Soften your top shoulder. Inner thighs are moving towards one another to create integrity, to create strength in this pose. Inhale, come back to the center line. You're going to windmill your left arm back all the way down towards the floor. Turn your left foot to face straight forward and step your right foot back, table or downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Adding your 3 push-ups. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. High push-ups or low push-ups, big push-ups or little push-ups. After the third one, you're going to lower all the way to the floor. You can take a back bend of choice. You can continue with cobra, or you can take upward dog or elbows down sphinx. And then exhale back, median table or downward facing dog in the next 4 or 5 breaths. What you do with those 4 or 5 breaths is up to you. What does your body require this evening? When you're ready, come into table or dog. You're going to float your right foot up to the sky and step your right foot to the front of the mat. Lift your chest as you inhale, look forward. As you exhale, you can push into your back toes and spring up. Inhale, halfway. Exhale to side. As you inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, hands come to the heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, put your hands down, step your right foot back. Fingertips frame the left foot. And again, you could do this with the back knee up or the back knee down. You can pick the preference that feels right. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, round a little forward. Your own pace, 3 sets. Coming all the way back forward, front knee over front ankle, the left hand stays on the outside of the left foot, the right heel spins to the floor, long edge of foot, short edge of mat. Rainbow or windmill, the right arm up to the sky, come all the way to standing. Squeeze the heel of the front foot towards the arch of the back foot and straighten your front leg. We're going right into that triangle, so the hips bump back and you reach the left arm forward as you fold. Reaching the right fingertips up to the sky. So again, you're not working here. Goal isn't to get your hand to the floor. Your goal is to reach the center of your chest, your heart as open as possible so that it's facing out in front of you as opposed to down towards the floor. And the thing I find most helpful is stacking the shoulders. Right shoulder on top of left helps to have that openness at the front of the body. Take a few deep breaths here. Press into both of your heels and lift all the way back up. Bend your front knee, you're back to warrior 2. Flip your left palm to the ceiling and fold back, right hand to the thigh somewhere. Left arm can even come a little bit over your head. See if you can keep your left knee stacked above your left ankle in this one. Inhale to the center line. Again, you're going to windmill with that backhand all the way forward. Folding, 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 hands to the mat. Back foot faces straight forward back, and you step back. Inhale, knees up or down, plank. 3 push-ups. Exhaling, 1 and 2. And last one, 3. And then on this one, you get to lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes, pick up your cobra, your upward dog, or your sphinx. And then as you exhale, go ahead and allow yourself all the way to the floor. Reach your hands in front of you. Interlace your fingers, except for your index finger, which is going to point straight forward. And see if in between your arms, you can rest your forehead to the floor. Let go. Imagine that you are melting like candle wax into your mat. when you are ready, slide your hands back. And here what you want to do is bring your hands down by your sides, but turn your palms around to face the floor. And you want to keep the palms of your hands on the floor here. You can let your nose just hover above the mat, or you can even let your forehead rest down. You don't want to lift your chest just yet, so your head stays very low. As you inhale, you're going to lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your right thigh towards your left thigh and see if you can lift just a tiny bit higher. Hold here. And then release. Now on an inhale, you lift your left leg up to the ceiling. Keep the head low, keep the hands down, squeeze the thigh in, maybe a tiny more lift. And release. We're going to alternate sides. Inhale, lift the right. Squeeze and hold. And release. Inhale, lift the left. Squeeze, hold, release. One more time on each side. Inhale, lift. Bring it in. And let it go. Inhale, lift. Bring it in. And let it go. This time as you inhale, see if you can lift both feet off of the mat. Squeeze the thighs together, hold. And release. 2 more like that. Both feet lift. Squeeze the feet together, hold. And release. 1 more like that. Squeeze and release. 1 more set. This time see if you can lift your torso, lift your legs. You can lift your hands if you want. Squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze the feet together, hold. And release. 2 more. Lifting everything up. Squeezing everything in. And letting it go. If you've got 1 more in you, give it a go. Lift everything up. Squeeze it in. Hold it. And let it go. And bring your hands under your head and create a cushion just to rest here. You got a lot of tension in your lower back. You can always tuck your toes under, lift your hips a little bit, and wiggle them from side to side. A little mildly interested puppy. When you're ready, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. You're going to press yourself back to seated. And you could sit, there's a camel pose, on your heels. You could sit cross-legged, or you could sit with the legs out in front of you. Whatever you choose, bring your hands down a little bit behind you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift the center of your chest. Angle your hands so that this feels comfortable to you. You can walk your hands further back if you need a deeper stretch. And you just want to continue to lift the center of your chest. Maybe you let your head come a little back. So you feel lots of space at the very front of your shoulders. As you're ready, you want to soften your hips a little bit. Walk your hands in. Slowly roll up. Head comes last. Wiggle out your wrists. And then if you don't already have your legs extended out in front of you, go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you. If sitting in this way, this Dandasana, this staff pose, feels uncomfortable in your lower back, you kind of have to round forward, or you feel really tight in your hamstrings, you could sit up a little bit on a blanket or a folded mat, or you're welcome to draw your knees in or even place a rolled towel or blanket underneath your knees to make this more accessible so that you can actually fold forward in this position. When you're ready, inhale, lift your arms up. Reach towards the ceiling, and then exhale, fold forward. And you go just as far forward as you go. Maybe that's hands on the floor, even on blocks, to the legs. If your feet are accessible, you can hold on to your feet. If you happen to be using a strap as a prop, you can always take your strap over your feet, and then you can hold on like reins. Oops. Feel free to wiggle around a little bit. Get into a position that feels beneficial for your body. And really nice and slow, we're going to come out of this. So as you breathe in, you're going to start to walk your fingertips in towards you. Roll from the very bottom of your spine to the middle of your spine, all the way up through the crown of your head, rolling your shoulders back. And then if this feels comfortable, this seat feels comfortable, go ahead and stay. If you want to switch seats, go ahead and find a seat that feels just right for your body. Take your arms in front of you as you inhale. As you exhale, take your right arm and pull it across the body. Or take the backs of your hands or the fronts of your hands together. Variations on eagle arms. So you feel your right shoulder blade starting to get a little stretch. Relax your shoulder blades away from your ears as you do this. Go ahead and release. If you need to move that right shoulder blade around a little bit, do. Reach your arms when you're ready out in front. Cross the left arm across the body. You can just pull it across using your right arm as a lever. Or you can do more of an eagle arm style if that feels better to you. You just want to feel your left shoulder blade starting to kind of move away from the muscles of your back. Another nice deep breath here. And you let that go. And you roll your left shoulder blade around a little bit. And we're going to do a little neck stretch. This stretches some of the muscles that run from your shoulder blades up and attach onto your cervical spine. So really nice if you have been tense in your shoulders at all today. Go ahead and lift your left arm up towards the sky. And then fold your left hand around to hold onto your right ear. And then you're just going to guide your head over towards the left side so you feel a stretch on the right side. And as you do this, you're going to play. You can play with the angle of your head. Maybe it feels good to look towards your armpit. Maybe it feels good to look a little more straight or up towards the ceiling. You can also play with your right hand. Does it feel more stretchy to reach it out to the side, to bring it to your lap? Something I'm quite partial to right now is reaching the hand behind the back. That feels like a really good stretch for the whole right side of my neck and shoulder. And be gentle with yourself. These are muscles that hold so much tension. When you're ready, press your head a little bit into your hand, gently start to come back up. If you took your right hand somewhere, you're going to move it around. Again, you can move your shoulder blades around and mobilize them a little bit. Go to the other side, you'll reach your right arm up. You fold your hand to your left ear and just gently guide the head across. And then you experiment. And remember, it's totally fine if the sides are quite a bit different. So actually take the time to see what feels good over here on the left, as opposed to just going to the same place that you did. Maybe it ends up being the same place. Maybe it ends up being quite different. Because although our bodies are designed with this kind of symmetry in mind, we have, right and left sides that have all of the same components, at least on the outside for the most part. We do very different things with the sides of our bodies during the day. When you're ready, press press your head into your hand and lift gently back up. Unwind. Move your shoulders and get them a little mobile. And then come to sit right in the middle of your mat. Soles of the feet are on the floor. Grab behind your thighs. We're going to go down to the floor the same way that we did at the very beginning of class. So you lift the center of your chest as you inhale. And as you exhale, you roll down, drawing the knees with you as you go, hugging them towards your chest. Maybe you want to rock a little side to side. Getting everything cozy and comfortable. And then release the feet one and then the other to the floor. Knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. Bring the backs of your arms onto the mat as close to your torso as you can. Fingertips point towards the ceiling for robot arms. Inhale here, and then as you exhale, draw your belly button towards the floor. Press into your heels and lift your hips up towards the ceiling for a bridge pose. And you can keep pressing the backs of your arms into the mat to support you here. That might feel quite nice. You could also go and reach your hands down to hold on to the outer edges of your mat and just gently pull the mat apart. That might feel nice. If you want to go a little bit further, you can even take your hands underneath you, interlacing your fingers. You can wiggle your shoulder blades even a little more underneath the back if you like. Again, see what feels just right for your body. Inhale in your bridge. As you exhale, release your arms and lower your hips gently to the floor. Take your feet a little wider than your hips. Let your knees knock in towards one another. In TP. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling as you inhale. As you exhale, wrap your right arm on top and wrap your arms around yourself for a big hug. Massage a little bit your shoulders or your arms here if that feels nice. And open your arms up. Cross your left arm on top, wrap your arms around yourself. You can keep your knees knocked in, or you could take the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out to the sides if you prefer. Ready, you open your arms up and use your hands to gather your legs in. If you like, take your feet hip distance or slightly wider apart. Stretch your arms out to the side. And take a few turns from side to side with your knees like big windshield wipers. Here you might feel perfectly ready to bring your knees to the center line and extend towards Shavasana. If there's any other pose or shape that your body would like to complete this practice, you are more than welcome to add that in. Finding your way to a comfortable resting space. Come to your rest pose and just take a few breaths to check in with your body. Notice any changes that have occurred in our practice. I hope that your body feels energetically different. Places that were tense maybe now are a little looser. places that were tired are now a little bit more energetic. It's always amazing to me how just the act of thoughtfully moving the body can change not just how your body feels, but how you feel, your mental state. Allow your breath to deepen. Allow yourself the next few minutes to just let go. You have done the work, you've put in the time. This is the dessert. This is what we came for. If you have the time to stay, please do. If you need to be moving on with the rest of your day, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And perhaps turn your head from right to left. When you're ready, make your way all the way over to one side to rest for a few breaths. Before making your way to your most comfortable seat. Bringing your hands in front of your heart. We'll close with our deep breath together. In through nose if possible, out through mouth. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice and your time with me. Have a marvelous rest of your day. I hope your body feels rested and wonderful.